Ignoring the line between solid reason and the certain grip of madness, defiant in the face of the onrushing superheated comet of Innsmouth's propaganda machine. We are your one and only source of truthiness, 665.66 UHMR Chemrat Radio, coming to you live tonight from the Glacial Marauders Arena.
You don't care if that's a Make-A-Wish child. A hit's a hit!
Never a boring day at Murder Ball.
I don't care if it's a Make-A-Wish kid. A green light's green light. Get him. Do you ever watch that episode of South Park where like the little kids are playing against and one is like the blade of the hockey guy like just cuts him? It's that.
Anyway, I have a whole thing about that, but we'll talk about it later. As always, I'm your friendly neighborhood plasma fiend, Goblin King, joined tonight by my special guest, the Sultan of Sparkling Water himself, Ickbard.
Well, hello. I'm so glad to be here, and not because it's community mandated.
God damn it!
For those not versed with the lore, I was arrested for inciting riots. I summered in my prison cell, which is in an abandoned asylum, and now I'm doing community service hours.
There you go. Oh fuck, man. Well, happy Sanguinala, listeners. This is our 2024 Sanguinala special. And as is our tradition, Ickbard and I are here, and we are full of hot cocoa. So,
do you make hot cocoa with milk or water?
Milk. Is this a real conversation? Okay. I was like, is this a real conversation? Are we about to fight? So wherever you are in the world, pull up a nice cozy blanket, get yourself a steaming cup of hot cocoa, or if you're another persuasion, a glass of Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog, or, eggnog with a bunch of Jim Beam in it. However you make it's up to yourself.
Just go to the whiskey. It's the good part.
Come along with us on this journey. But before we jump into the episode itself, if you want to watch what we do, you want to get a little bit more of an uncut experience, you want to see our beautiful faces and all of that, you can do that by heading on over to patreon.com/Under the Hive of Madness right now, where you can sign up to get access to exclusive content, monthly giveaway. That's what they're called. Yeah, monthly giveaway, which is coming next week, I promise. And a couple of other things. So check on all of that out. But without further ado, Ick, you brought this idea to me. So I want you to kind of lay out your thought process. So we were talking about what we were going to do for a Sanguinala special. We have a couple of days. We're actually doing two Sanguinala specials. We're doing one before Christmas and we're recording one after. We are, I know you guys are hearing this the day after Christmas, but we recorded this a couple of days before Christmas. That's how broadcasting works. That's how
movie
podcasting
magic
works. That's right. We'll fix it in fucking post. But so you had this idea to kind of look at the surface level of constructed languages, ConLangs, and like calendars and holidays. And what was your thought process that led up to those like ideas intermingling? Because you pitched it. I like how you pitched it to me, but I know that it was deeper. You gave me the elevator pitch. I want the deeper pitch.
Okay, I'll read what I wrote in a deeper voice.
It's like from Hot Fuzz. I need you to just do it again, but do it lower.
To us.
So the reason I brought it up is I like taxonomy. Taxonomy is cool. The word itself is satisfying to say. Just take a moment, guys. Say it right now with me. I just made a bunch of people do that.
Wait, what?
I was going to be paused, and everyone in their cars goes taxonomy, and I go, "That's how cults are made." So I would think I'm not lying.
We like reinforce it by not feeding you. No.
I'm sorry. It's like this is the equivalent of like the German knock knock joke. We will be asking the questions.
Here's your sailor suit. Welcome to my boat. No, you're not allowed to eat anymore. No.
Hey, we brought it full around. And if you want to get on the Patreon, this is a big payoff for a setup we had about an hour ago.
That's right. There was another L. Ron Hubbard joke in there at some point. I'm sorry. Taxonomy. So you're interested in, go for it.
Taxonomy. Why words are the way they are. Especially because when you have a lot of words that have a very, very negative meaning and a lot of like connotations. You can cut this if it's one of those things where it's going to be a no-no. The creation of the word fag, what it was.
I mean, yeah, and how it's used outside of the United States.
Yeah,
still.
And the very TLDR of it is basically a fag or a faggot was the person, old, brittle person, went on collecting all the sticks for kindling. And it was basically the job you would put the infirm to do because it's a whatever, keep him busy task. And it translated from there in various usage for the useless one or the weak one or infirm. That's what they're taking care of. And that's where it translated from, and it was used and became most commonly known today for homophobic slurs. But the fact that it comes from such a mundane origin is insane to me, and that just kind of opened that door.
And it's still, I mean, the British still use it to mean cigarette. So, and there's small populations in the United States that unironically use it to mean cigarettes, but in modern, it's not a word to say in modern. Using it in its modern connotation in most of the United States is a pretty big no-no.
Unless they're really good friends with you, but it's kind of like you need the pass almost.
I would say it still probably gets you slapped, but yeah, it's you just have to, and we've got slang kind of develops that way in general. We went from, I'm trying to think of a really good example, but so a good example is awesome. A lot of people use awesome to just mean good, but awesome legitimately means I'm awestruck. I do not have a response to what's happening. So in certain circumstances, people will say like, oh, the violence that was on display was awesome. They don't mean it was cool. They mean the original usage of the word. Another word that gets used, another word whose meaning, yeah, there we go. Word whose meaning is completely changed is decimate. Decimate literally meant kill 1 out of 10. You are decimating, 10 eliminating, 1 per, that's what you're doing. Now decimate means to utterly destroy. So how did the Roman legion is fucked up? You have to decimate your units. You have to have 9 guys beat 1 guy to death with sticks, which is what they did. Everybody in the cohort got essentially like a stick is probably not the right word, like a branch, and then whoever the 10th guy was, whoever drew the short straw, just got beat to death. That was what decimate meant, and then that was what decimate meant for a long time. But now it's just now it just means to destroy, like period. Yeah, I think it's more like baton, like they use baton. But anyway, I'm
like
not
a truncheon.
Yeah, yeah. When they decimate people on Krieg, they just use shovels. Anyway, so yeah, constructed languages and what a constructed language is. It's actually kind of fun that you brought up what you did with like how words modify, because we're going to talk about a language that is 100%
talked about connotative versus denotative as well.
Yeah, well, and that's getting a little bit more into like language etymology and language construction, and where it comes from. Man, you're probably going to be back for the full episode, but we're going to give you guys an outline of ConLangs. So when it comes to a ConLang, what is a constructed language? And a constructed language, a ConLang is like the world building shorthand for constructed languages, by the way. I'm going to use it a lot. It's just easier than saying constructed language.
It's your word of the day.
Right. These are languages whose phonology, grammar, orthography, and vocabulary are completely constructed rather than having naturally developed. They're also often called, because of this, artificial, planned, invented, or fictional languages. And there are 3 major categories, as I put up 4 fingers. There are 3 major categories of ConLangs.
It's the 3 spaces in between the 4.
It's right. Thank you. Yes, there are 3 of them.
Read between the lines, guys.
There are 3 major types of ConLang. I like how like a joke like that goes over. If you're listening, I was on video doing the wrong thing. Go join in so you can see. So the 3 main categories are artlangs, which is coming at language constructed from a artistic perspective. So these are ones that we deal with the most when we're working with and looking at creative writing and world building. There are a lot of examples that we are going to go over in just a minute that fit into this category, so I'm not giving you any others. There are auxlangs. These are auxiliary languages, and they are designed for interlinguistic or international communication. A great example of this is the ConLang Esperanto, which was specifically developed to make it easier for different languages to speak one language. Did it work? We're not getting into that debate. However, that was its aim.
The way you said that, it sounds like people talked about like hooked on phonics. Did that really help the youth?
I would say there's a lot of question as to whether or not Esperanto is completely worthless, but this is not the Esperanto argument.
I'll be on for that episode too, I see.
So the next is an Ingalang, and an Ingalang is an engineered language, and these are subdivided into logic languages called Longalangs, philosophical languages which don't have a fun name, and experimental languages which don't have a fun name. And they are designed to be used in large model experimentations in logic, philosophy, and linguistics in general. There's probably a lot more that goes into this, but essentially an Engalang is using a system to try to break the existence of the language. Probably a really good example would be any written code language, as in
a cipher.
For computer programming. These are completely made up languages that serve a specific purpose, and then a lot of times they're just running large amounts of data to see if something happens.
I was thinking you were talking about like code languages like ciphers or codes within codes, like actual like hidden messages in text, like spycraft stuff.
Ciphers exist in their entire own like department, which is
CypherLangs.
Yeah, they've got their own. They're their own secret languages or their own thing, but they come out of this same idea. They would most likely be, I probably in this context considered auxlangs, but ciphers and like code breaking is its own beast. It's relatively easy to make a simple naming conlang, the act of coming up with a handful of lexicon-bound words that mean specific things or act as noun replacements in the worlds that we develop. A great example inside of Warhammer 40k might be the Adaptus Mechanicus, any of the fake Latin, any of it. Adaptus Mechanicus is what popped into my mind, but
Munionatorum, Adeptus Sororitas.
Yeah. Every single one of them just replaces. The really good example, the really easy example is the Astra Militarum replaced the Imperial Guard.
I hate it.
It means the same thing, but it's a constructed language element. The difficulty comes in when we look at making a comprehensive language, something that can actually be translated word for word into another existing language. As an example, High Gothic. High Gothic is a simple naming conlang because there's only certain things that actually change. Adeptus Astartes, thank you, means Space Marines. Astra Militarum means Imperial Guard. Eldari is the word for Eldar. Like they're just replacements, and they call them High Gothic. But you can't string together a sentence in High Gothic and then translate the entire sentence into English and then translate the entire sentence into another language. And the reason that that's important is that when you translate languages, there's always some meaning lost in translation. When you translate simple naming devices, lexicons, stuff like this, there isn't anything lost because there's not a great amount of meaning. There's not a great amount of philosophy being communicated behind the words. Translating a great epic poem from French into English, you lose a certain amount of it. Translating a codex, you don't lose anything because there isn't a High Gothic to translate. There's just like one or two filler words.
I imagine people use High Gothic in the same way that like kids in school when they're learning like Spanish, they start randomly replacing words in there, just be like, oh, I'm taking a new language course. And like they start saying random High Gothic words and they get the shit beat out of them at lunch.
I imagine that there are probably kids who completely get away with it, but I mean D&D is rife with simple naming conlangs. There are so many words that are just 100% replace something, and that's it. That's all that matters. And when we come up with our own worlds, it's super easy to do too. What do the dwarfs call a hill? Well, dwarfs call a hill a Warvaden. So all of these place names that are like special hills that had some battle are, something Warvaden every single time. Something like Mule Hill becomes Warvaden Mule. And it just becomes a replacement on the map. And, the first time you encounter it, you're like, well, what's a Warvaden? Oh, it's a hill. Okay, that's cool. The dwarves have a special name for it. Is there a sentence? Is there a full lexicon? Is there an entire etymology? or taxonomy of the Dwarven language? Absolutely the fuck not. I just wanted a different name for the word hill. Like, I'm trying to think of other examples, but it's a super common D&D practice, right? You need a cool name.
They do it in the only Votan book. They go out of their way. They give all the different races different names. When they deal with Tyranids, except for orcs. Orcs are orcs. When they deal with Tyranids, they're called like gene killers.
Interesting. Yeah,
because
exactly.
They take them away, so they can't go back into the Votan itself and be rebirthed.
Into the mush
It's one of their
pile.
big fears. Yeah, they can't. They yearn for the mines.
Into the Votan slurry pit.
Into the Votan McFlurry.
Oh my god. Sir, the Votanic white slurry is not pretty. Anyway.
Votanic white slurry.
What color do you think it is? It's just white.
It's just I'm just seeing Bishop from Alien just like being ripped apart, but just like it's like with a stoic dwarvenness.
Everything returns to come. Anyway. With that in mind, this is a really bad segue. This is a hard segue. Let's look at some
when it comes to come.
Let's look at some of the famous and infamous ConLangs represented across modern epic fantasy and science fiction. And we are going to start with the granddaddy of it all, Tolkien. Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and the rest of Tolkien's work sit as a paragon example of our world building spectrum. And I say that as in the podcasts. And he also holds this place in a lot of other creator scales. I don't want to say everybody's extreme paragon on the high end is Tolkien, but I do want to say most of us agree. Most people who get into world building agree Tolkien is at the absolute top. It's hard to deny the depth and interconnectivity of his world building, and he generally occupies a space as the grandfather of modern epic fantasy. And that's kind of just accepted. Even the other high-ups in epic fantasy consider him to be like the granddad. His stories, however, didn't exist before the languages he created, as he's treated the practice of constructing languages as his hobby. Tolkien was an English philologist. Tolkien was an English philologist, meaning his area of study was specifically into languages and how they develop. So he studied why languages exist and why they developed and why they're here. And because of that, he really loved pulling them apart, combining and rebuilding them into other languages. And through this hobby, through this practice, which he started in like the 20s, he eventually would develop all of the languages that are represented in Lord of the Rings. But some of the famous ones being Quenya, Sindarin, Adonic, and of course, Black Speech. Now, in each case, some of them are full languages and some of those are simple naming ConLangs. Black Speech, pretty much the only amount of Black Speech that exists is the One Ring poem. He didn't really write any more of it. But Sindarin is a language you can go take a class and learn. So it's the spectrum of language development.
But the Black Speech is an interesting one on that one, because the Black Speech is literally by lore an amalgamation stealing from all the other languages, the failure to create, because evil does not create. It only steals, corrupts.
Right. And it steals kind of the like more harsh noises from all of them. Speaking of harsh noises, we're going to go and talk about Mark Okrand, who
speaking of harsh noises, and it cuts to this dude, and he looks like he just heard someone rip the worst part in their look at the car
ass on the bridge of the Enterprise. So Mark Okrand developed Klingon from Star Trek, which originally only had about 1,500 words. However, as Star Trek has continued from when he developed it, it has continued to expand both within the official Star Trek canon and, of course, by further development by fans. It's now an actual physical language. Again, you can go take a college course and learn how to speak Klingon. Klingon was designed to be a warrior language, and Okrand focused on non-English harsh lingo forms. He also heavily focused on using the harshest of the K sounds. So I'm trying to think of a harsh K, like anything that has like that kind of like in it. And I don't know.
Yeah, where it's almost phlegmy.
Yeah, I don't know a lot. I don't know any Klingon, and I tried to memorize some Klingon to be like clever at this point, but like I can't wrap my brain around it.
I was at a wedding that had Klingon like infused in it, and I don't remember it, so don't feel bad.
Well,
it was my brother's wedding.
There you go. Nice that your brother did that. Not nice that you forgot, but yeah, Klingon's an interesting language. And when you get into ConLangs, I'm developing like 3 ConLangs right now. My ConLang brain space is entirely devoted to mine, and I have a really hard time even dealing with like real language, as you guys may have noticed from my pronunciation of French names in the Space Marine chapters. Sometimes my brain doesn't process language anymore because it's just on a different wavelength. I'm dealing with like, how do lizard men talk? Well, it's a lot of S sounds, right? So my brain's there, so I pronounce things differently. Anyway, the reason
Makes
that he
sense.
went with these heavy and harsh K sounds is there was already an association in science fiction with words like, I'm just going to bring up the easy one, kryptonite. So he wanted to kind of call back to that k all the time, that k noise.
Solid
Klingon,
consonants, yeah.
Yeah. Klingon is also an object verb subject order language, which is not common, and it occurs in only about 1% of human evolved languages. So just by the sentence structure alone, it feels alien. So when you're reading the subtitles below, things are out of place and you get even more of that alien feel to it. Now, the next one that we want to talk about from Mark Ockrand, is Atlantean, which is from Disney's Atlantis. And I'm going to kind of let you run with this one, other than to say that its original name, its name in Atlantean, is Dig Adlantisag.
Atlantisag.
Yeah, there you go.
So Dig Atlantisag, you will get no rewards for saying it 5 times in a row really fast, but you'll have my appreciation. It's a historically constructed artistic language. It's a root language. It's supposed to be like the common language for everyone before the Tower of Babel fell. You know, that was a fun time. I was there, and Gobbo was there. He's older than me.
I was at the top. It was. We invented bungee jumping that day.
And it was great. You also invented the practical joke when I landed face first.
Chalk and I tying vines to Ick's foot. It was, anyway.
It was great. So it's supposed to be a language before the Tower of Babel. It's also supposed to reflect a language that has not evolved, which is interesting because it also leads into the artistic side of it, where they are a stagnating society. They're losing more and more every day because they're not overcoming, developing, reigniting essentially their souls and being in this little bubble. The way he wanted to reinforce this stagnant, like almost 100,000 years pulled away from everyone else who evolved, he went and looked at common characteristics around world languages. He looked specifically a lot into the Proto-Indo-European and Biblical Hebrew. He also pulled some words from Latin and Greek because you're kind of legally obligated.
Yeah, at a certain point, if you're going to make it sound old, put Latin in it.
And I brought up this example in particular to talk about on this episode because the entire beginning and the way this plot starts is because someone's trying to retranslate a lost dead language to then understand where to go to find a treasure, where a treasure map would go.
Yep.
And he's right because he's a linguist. And that's where you get to have that world building of, what if we had this tactile thing? I can almost hold this in my hands and discover it. What happens if there's that little missing piece that's just made up just enough for us to play with? And it's also one of the best movies ever. And the same guy who wrote the same script for the Stargate movie, which is a great movie. I will fight you to the death if you disagree. This is to everyone listening.
Stargate's a fantastic movie. I also love that there's a character in Atlantis who's like, solution to every problem is dynamite.
I love Vinny. I got a few cherry bombs, a road flare, stick of dynamite.
Dynamite. More dynamite.
More dynamite.
Does he have like an oversized paperclip? He's like, paperclip.
I got a big paperclip.
Yeah.
Don't you have something a little more sporty, like a tuna?
Fucking love it.
I was making these corsages and then boom, no more Chinese laundry.
So next up, we have David J. Peterson. And you may not know his name, but you definitely probably know his languages. So we're going to start off with kind of maybe the most unknown and possibly kind of the nerdiest, which is Triglislang. I had this.
Trigedasleng?
Trisegdislang. I had it pronounced to me several times, so I not fuck up.
The G is a C?
No, it's a G. You're right. Trigedasleng. And this is from the 100. It's often called the grounder language or the tree tribe language. This is another warrior language. This is the second warrior language we're talking about. And this takes a vastly different approach from Klingon. It's designed to feel more like an evolved mix of the dominant languages that were spoken in a post-apocalyptic version of the United States West Coast after generations of isolated development. So the 100, if you've never watched it, is a post-apocalyptic television series that essentially says a catastrophic global war happened. The only survivors are in a space station. They've been in the space station for an unspecified amount of time, and the space station is starting to fail. So they have to land back on the planet to see if the planet is viable. The 100 comes from the 100 prisoners that they pull. And for some fucking reason, the original conceit was all of the prisoners that were in this 100 were teenagers, because this was a CW show. However, unlike most CW shows, they realized that they were getting better ratings off of all of the war than they were getting off of all of the kissing. So the show actually became better as time went on.
Oh my God. I just realized, right? This is the ignition for like whatever past Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the generation there. This is going to be their inspiration for some baller books we're going to read in about 40 years.
Oh yeah. Well, and like the sheer like what the fuck Mad Max energy that some of the characters in this show capture is like amazing. And there's some really cool fight scenes and some other stuff, but the language can be a little weird. It relies really heavily on slang words, and in some of those slang words are recognizable. They immediately jump out to you.
It's literally in the name of the language, slang.
Yeah. And the rest of the language is based on a very, very heavily accented version of English. So you kind of understand what they're saying, but you don't understand what they're saying at all, which really works into the fact that like these kids that are on the planet have no way of communicating with the people on the planet, even though they technically share the same mother tongue. They both technically share English. Furthermore, as Peterson continued to develop it, he eliminated the articles such as the, a, and, so the sentence structure changes greatly. And he greatly expanded upon the verb and preposition mix that we currently use in English. A lot of times when we mix verbs and preposition, we don't do it that often. This language does it a lot. And because of those two little changes, you start missing things that, again, just like within Klingon, the sentence structure itself is different, which makes the language feel more alien, more diverse, more different. Alien's not the right word, but more
foreign.
Yes, foreign. Thank you.
Which alien does work, but not in the connotation people take nowadays.
Well, and not in the connotation that a Warhammer 40k podcast puts across, where we actively talk about aliens.
No, never.
So Peterson also developed 7 languages for the HBO show Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure you've all heard of this one. Just to be clear, while Martin wrote a short list of simple name words that we were talking about earlier in the books, they weren't a full ConLang until this show had been developed. So this guy came in, took those simple words, maybe there was a poem in Dothraki that could be fully translated or something. It's kind of a simple name, ConLang. It's kind of like finding a sample of Egyptian hieroglyphics and then one sample that matches up with it and being like, oh, I know 15 words. Like that's kind of where it is when it comes to developing this stuff. So Peterson took that and developed it completely into a different language. The Dothraki are another warrior culture. And so language was also designed to sound really harsh. This time he looked at the languages of desert, specifically wanted it to sound like that of a desert people. And because of that, he specifically borrowed a lot of his lingo forms from German, Russian, and Arabic, with a lot of frequent throaty and vocal fry noises. And I'm like, it's kind of that like, if you don't know what vocal fry is, it's when you artificially make your voice sound a little bit not the way it's supposed to. You're talking from a different part. And vocal fry is a technique most commonly seen in either weird languages or singing.
Death metal.
Yeah, death metal would be a great place. Many words also stress the last syllable and stress H and Q sounds a lot more than English does. So, when we talk about what's a good what's a good multi-syllable language? December. I stressed D, December. Can I do it the other way?
December.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
It's the emphasis on your syllables. Yeah.
Yes, you're putting the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah, the emphasis on syllables.
Yeah. And they do it on purpose. Like, that's how the language is built. Another thing is that the way that he built the ConLang, he did so by reading the book and getting an idea for the Dothraki culture. So, for instance, a common insult would be, you walk like a boy. They are not saying you are young and inexperienced. They are saying that you are not strong enough to ride a horse, because their entire culture is built around horses and riding. And that actually, another really famous example, which is a direct line from the show, is there is no word for thank you in Dothraki. So he played around with a lot of these different things when he built the language. Just to finish up on Peterson, because we could probably spend a long time on him. He's also known for developing the language of the Dark Elves that was used in Thor: The Dark World. They do speak to each other in whatever Dark Elven is in several points in that movie. He also came up with Chakasoba, Sardaukar, and House Astartes sign language, not House Astartes, House Atreides. Fuck, I did it the opposite way.
For once.
And House
we reversed
Atreides.
The polarity.
I've been doing Astartes for a while, but yeah, dude, those early episodes, it was Atreides all the time.
And now all I can think about is Jean-Luc Picard. Just like, it's just you. I mean, you have the same haircut with him now, so it works.
Hey, I'm mildly offended and also happy that you compared me to that
Sir
amazing man.
Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yes. But yeah, he also came up with the House Atreides sign language that's used in Denis Villeneuve's new Dune series. So this dude is like, his ConLangs are all over the place. Now, I want to be specific. It's not because David J. Peterson is better than everybody else that he's being hired a lot. Mark Ockrand, not Ocknard. Mark is retired. Mark was developing languages in television shows in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. He's not developing languages now. I think he's retired. I hope he's still with us, and I believe he's retired. But we just want to kind of lay that out. We're not picking our favorites or saying somebody's better than somebody else. We kind of went through like generations. Tolkien won, Mark next, David most recent.
Jesus Christ, he's 76 years old.
I was going to say he's got to be up there. And this is really just a brief outline of the surface of ConLangs. And this is your taster. We have a deep dive world building episode that it's already been in development. We're continuing to develop it, and we're going to expand a lot on this. ConLangs are pretty big, and this is probably one of the first cases where we might end up having a 3-part world builder, which we haven't done yet, just because this is I'm sure you guys can tell. We've talked about it for about 20 minutes, and we probably have left more questions in your minds than answers. But that's kind of it. And what we want to do now is we want to get into that simple naming side of it. And we want to talk about how to come up with some fun stuff.
And it's a lot easier than you think it is. Trust me. I've done it.
Yeah. It's definitely, it's a deep well. The well is going to give you water. It just depends on how much water you want from it,
Yeah. That's a beautiful way to put it.
I sometimes I'm good with words. Most of the time I'm like, how do I even make the talks? But every once in a while I pull something out.
Right.
So the naming of places, and as Ick brought up, the entire impetus for the episode, events. As mentioned earlier, a good place to start, and sometimes the only depth you need, is that simple naming level. This is often the first place a world builder needs to start, as our needs are often incredibly straightforward. I'm running a session on Saturday, and I need a name for the Goblin Fortress, something that is slightly more interesting than the Goblin Fortress, because, it's that meme where the guy is like, my players are expecting something from me, but all I've written down behind the DM screen is sexy goblin.
And it's Boblin the Goblin.
Boblin the Goblin. Oh my God. Are they
You've
just
never seen Boblin the Goblin?
Do I need to look up Boblin the Goblin?
So Boblin the Goblin is basically the phenomena. It's a meme that explained a phenomena that is used a lot in TTRPG. When you have a simple character with a stupid name,
Oh, I know this guy. Okay.
Yeah, the party will wrap around them and just go, yes, we must protect Boblin the Goblin. They're not going to be with, like, an example. I had a character who was NPC who was basically the in for a group for a secret society. He was like Inquisitor Stroganoff. He became Stroganoff real quick, and then he became a favorite.
Well, of course he did. I mean, like, how are you not going to do that with that name? I mean, like, yeah. Or the inventor of the fantastic dish, beef stroganoff, he's here with us right now.
Or like, if this is a deep cut for a lot of you RPG nerds out there. If you're familiar with Adventure Acquisitions Incorporated, there we go, Acquisition Inc. It was before it just became a special they would do at every Penny Arcade Expo. They used to have actually like an audio only podcast of playing D&D, one of the very first, and they had Will Wheaton playing an elf ranger named Aophel. They named him Al. They said, "Hey Al." Yeah. He goes, "It's Aophel."
It doesn't matter.
Dick. Al, you're really, why you're so hostile to us, man? I'm the CEO.
That's why he got his dick cape.
Yeah.
To bring it into a 40k context, maybe you want the name of your homebrew Space Marines to not be the Dirty Dragons who come from Dirty Dragon X. You know, you don't necessarily want everything to. I'm sorry, Dirty Dragon 10. You don't necessarily want everything to sound like an expansion of Bad Dragon when you're naming your homebrew Space Marine chat. And it's really easy to do because you're just trying to think of something, and you're like, man, I like dragons, and these guys kind of fight different. Let's name them Dirty Dragons. And then your friend's like, oh, that kind of sounds dirty. And you're like, fine, I'll change it to Bad Dragons. And they're like, really, dude? You know, like sometimes you need a little bit more depth there. And that's just what we're trying to outline right now. So you don't end up with the wicked.com problem.
Or GoDaddy, which actually I think they took advantage of.
Yeah, they did. You heard about the Wicked thing, right?
No.
All the Wicked action figures.
The Barbies. Yeah.
Yes, had wicked.com on them, and they all had to be recalled because because people started going to wicked.com and realizing it was not a Barbie website.
Oh God,
I'm telling you.
God.
I'm pretty sure. I don't have no proof, but I'm pretty sure that was like a marketing decision. They were like, we'll be able to buy wicked.com by the time the toys release. And then wicked.com was like, no, we have more money than you.
It's like, I'm not selling.
Yeah.
Thank you for the free advertising. It's like when people do retro games, they're playing the shitty Who Framed Roger Rabbit SNES game, and it has a phone number that you call for tips. It's a sex line nowadays.
Yep. Oh my God, man. That's a deep cut right there. Names are crucial, and it's super easy to dig some up. I mean, hell, just open up a map for reference. It can be really hard, though, to figure out why some of those names were actually chosen. As an example, Oxford University, arguably one of the more famous English colleges, got its name from the fact that its location used to be a river crossing for oxen. And I don't know about you, but once you hear that, it's really hard to separate the idea of, like, it's hard to justify Oxford University with, a bunch of ox can cross the shallow river here. Like, it just doesn't feel right. But listeners, you now know, it now also plagues you, not just me.
And also, you can open up your maps because relating to Oxford here, look up how many Avon rivers there are.
Oh yeah. We didn't even, I kind of thought about touching on all of the different like location names that are literally like hill in one language and then hill in another, or island. Like if you fully translate them. Yeah, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of them. You'll find them on your own. It's a little fun game, and it's a thing that as a world builder you actually use. And when we get into ConLangs and a little deeper, I'll talk about why. But the other one to bring up is the Colorado River, and Colorado is a Spanish word for reddish, and that comes from the fact that a lot of times the Colorado's river is kind of tinted with that red mud. There are also examples that kind of get to what we were just saying in fiction. One of the great ones you can pull from immediately is the spice melange from Dune, where the word melange is actually just the French word for spice. So the spice melange literally means the spice. However, it gives it that like extra thing that makes it feel, you mentioned this earlier. Sometimes when you're writing fiction, you just start throwing in technobabble because it makes it sound better.
Exactly. And all I can think about is spice melange is, go back to early 2000s, as we do when it's you and I on these podcast episodes. Like, which spice are you? I'm quirky spice. I'm angry spice. I'm melange spice.
Oh my God. Wow.
If you want to be my melange.
Spice. If you want to be my herbs de Provence.
Man, if this doesn't get 1 million views.
Yeah, well, it'll get like 5. It's fine. When this gets cut out and put onto TikTok, like 3 people will be like, "Oh, I know what herbs de Provence are." And now that I made fun of those 3 people, they won't follow us.
They were already following you. They're there just to type in the contrary. It's like, right? Man, all these people here, all they do is complain. I never complain about you guys on your comment section.
Do you know what they didn't specifically say in the podcast? They said herbs de Provence, but they didn't say that it meant herbs from a Providence. I can't believe it, guys.
What next? Sorry. There's the Avors. Which league?
In Warhammer 40k, we can look at the names of the gates in the Imperial Palace on Terra. As an example, the Annapurna Gate was probably just named after the fact that they leveled Annapurna Mountain in Nepal to build it. Oh, there was a mountain with this name here.
There was.
Done. While the Colossi Gate is probably named based on the amount of traffic and the size of that traffic that passes through it, since that gate, the Colossus Gate, is the outer gate, which leads to Lions Gate Spaceport, which then leads to Lions Gate, which is the gate to the inner chunk of the palace. Furthermore, Lions Gate is named Lions Gate because of Lions Gate Spaceport. There's just this kind of like little thing that sets up, and we can get into, or we can theorize more of why Lions Gate is called Lions Gate, but just realize there's reasons for it. Or the fact that the west facing wall is called Daylight Wall, or the east facing wall is called Daylight Wall. Well, of course it is. That's where the fucking sun rises. The Helios Gate faces east towards the sun. Helios is a name for the sun. Like there's reasons that all of these things have names.
I think they actually do have a reason for why it's called Lionsgate.
I'm pretty sure it has to do with the First Legion. I just can't remember why exactly.
No, it's because that's where the film company is.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. That's why Legendary Gate is called Legendary Gate. And then there's my favorite gate, A24. No one goes there. It's
such a hit. Like, have you ever been to the fucking? Have you ever been to the? Wow, I'm missing guy who funds all the movies.
Weinstein, Henry. Don't go to Henry Weinstein Gate.
Don't go to the Weinstein Gate and the Four Seasons parapet. No,
they don't have the biometric readers you think they.
They don't have. They're not reading. They're reading biometrics for a different reason. No, it's the.
Stick your balls in me if you want me to open. I'm sorry.
There's a testicle scanner to get in.
You're trying to make a real point, and I won't stop.
That's fine. It's fine. The padding helped me get to the thing. Man, the Blumhouse province, it's just hit or miss. Some of the parapets have never been down, but some of the turrets just drop like that.
Yeah, it was like there's definitely a Blumhouse that somebody could get to here. The other examples in 40k are planets like Luther McIntyre 9, which is literally named after the dude that discovered it. And just to give that real world context, Columbia is named after Christopher Columbus. So it happened. I mean, it's just a thing that happens. This is the dude who found it. This is what we're naming it.
They named that harmless spider Abaddon.
A bad man. Yeah. Looking at all of that, we can build a general guideline for naming places. You have a place on your map where 3 rivers meet. That can easily be the Three Sisters Crossing. As humans, we often also settle or move along waterways naturally. It's just our natural inclination. It's like 78% of our body is made of water or something. So that could be a great place to set up your fortress monastery for your Space Marine chapter. And then that name that you choose for your Space Marine chapter doesn't have to be Bad Dragon anymore. Now it can be something associated with the Three Sisters Crossing. I'm just going to keep getting you with that dragon.
Dragon.
And then the names that they use for different things could also borrow from other elements of the Three Rivers. Maybe they name their Space Marine chapters instead of calling instead of calling their companies, maybe they name them something. Maybe they name them like tributaries. You can kind of start playing around with more stuff. And the world itself could have lots of names that were taken from the chapter heroes or the founders of the chapter. So there could be places along the planet or on the planet, or maybe the planet itself that's named after somebody who is famous to the chapter itself. It just kind of gives you an easier way. And I'm going to let you guys think about what you wanted to come up with for that Space Marine chapter. The one that I thought of was Guardians of the Tier or Guardians of the Three Tiers or something along those lines, just because it kind of feels like they would be guarding the three sisters. And I was trying to figure out like a cool way to work that in. But it really comes down to what you want, what your world's like. We're just throwing out an example.
Protectors of the Triumvirate Maidens.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Or Protectors of the Trident, because it's 3.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted to go a little shorter. It obviously if you want to place it on a river delta rather than the middle of the plain, it's really uncommon. We'll talk about maps at a certain point, but it's really uncommon for rivers to come together and then for the same number of rivers to split out. Usually when rivers come together, it's because they're feeding into a lake or an ocean. So there's a lot of stuff you can play with.
And we're not even bringing up pH balance levels.
Yeah.
I'm saying this with full sincerity.
I know, it's just where my mind went. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
go.
When rivers meet, sometimes like the Amazon, what are the 2 rivers? The Amazon River and the Carcassonne River, where they meet, there's like a very clear, like one's blue and one's brown because the pH doesn't match up. And then they flow into the ocean like that.
There's only 2 rivers, bodies of water that have an exact same pH. It's the Nile and Pyramid Lake.
Interesting.
Huh. Pyramid Lake. They didn't name it because of pH levels. Just saying, if you believe in coincidences, that's cool, but that's a sign.
I mean, as a coincidence, the only other pyramid that we know that's shaped like the pyramids in Giza is the Bass Pro Shop in Memphis, Tennessee. So, I mean, coincidence.
God, if only the Pyramid Lake was in Memphis and not Nevada.
Coincidence.
It's the teacher from Incredibles 1. Coincidence? I think not.
I like there was a meme at some point where somebody basically made the joke that the Bass Pro Shop is just where an ancient Titan before the Unification Wars fell. That's its head or whatever. It's great.
People made art of it. Yeah.
Another critical factor in the naming of things and the early stages of developing a language, even if you've never planned to develop it completely, is how those words affect or come from, reflect the culture they're embedded in. Often a culture is a mix of events that bring people together and how those interactions develop and evolve. It can be all sorts of deeper and more nuanced things, including warfare, trade, clothing style, but in general, major events kind of bring everybody together. Holidays are a great place to start. This goes back to Ick, your original theme, your original kernel. And we can once again look at our own to help lay down some of the ground rules. A lot of modern Western holidays have some connection to an impactful moment in history, such as any number of the independence celebrations that we have here in the Western world, or a connection to a major religion or religious figure, such as Christmas and Easter, or a connection to minor religious figures, such as Valentine's Day, or any mix of other factors, including long-held tradition like Halloween and Thanksgiving, conveniently bookending the harvest season. There's a reason for that. Now, do those holidays mean to us what they meant when they were founded? Absolutely not, but that doesn't really matter. Once you start to build out your holidays, it can be easy to look at building out your calendar as well. By the way, this is 100% the time to completely borrow what you know. If you are going to write a calendar, use our calendar. Do not build it from scratch. You will drive yourself nuts. And
there is only one exception to that. There are RPG websites explicitly with seeds and like hashes that auto do it, and you could put all the phenomena and fine tune it, but you have to start saving all these hash codes to put in, and then someone's going to see a notepad folder of all these hash codes and think that you're on the dark web, and that's not a risk I'm willing to take.
They'll start reading it. That's what number stations are.
Yeah.
But, if you start with our calendar and you just keep refining it and refining it and refining it, you'll eventually get to a place where no one will be able to tell it was based on our calendar. Like place names, holiday names, and even the months of our calendar have been changed by people and events in the past. For example, January takes its name from Janus, the Roman god of opening doors and beginning. really weird that it's January, right? Like, why would they name it that? And by the way, January was added by the Romans. August is another month that was added by the Romans, and it was named after the Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar. The Romans mucked about a lot with our modern calendar. And if you want to blame something on them, just go ahead and thank them for leap year. That was them. They did that.
What have the Romans done for us recently?
What have the Romans done? They changed the meaning of the word. No, I guess we changed. Fuck. I don't know. But our calendar is longer, quite a bit longer than the original calendar was. The 265 day, the 265 and a half day calendar is mostly a Roman invention. I believe at a certain point the calendar was only like 8 months or 10 months long. The Hebrew calendar was only 8 or 10 months long or something. So there's a lot of stuff. And like, obviously some of that has to do with like us learning more and blah, 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 blah. But we're talking about names. We're not talking about science.
If I had a nickel. Don't worry about the time, sweetheart. Just keep going. I'd have 0 nickels.
You don't pay her to be here. You pay her to leave.
I know you're not watching this, sweetheart, but I love you. And I would never. Just
oh my God.
CYA 20 years down. Honey, yeah, baby. I don't remember any of that. His lips were moving, not mine.
I have video evidence, sir. It's why I thought you had something, because you look like you were going to say something.
No, I was looking at the time and going, okay, I don't have a joke here. I'm not going to try to find one.
There you go. Like calendar names, holiday names are adapted from an earlier form. Halloween comes from All Hallows Eve, and Christmas comes from the Old English words which meant Christ's Mass. Okay. I know that's a stretch there, guys, right? Christmas, Christ Mass. Trust me.
Wait until you blow their mind by pointing out the word movie is literally move with an E on it.
Oh my god.
Because it's a moving picture.
It's moving. You just blew my mind.
It's the most uninteresting thing. People are like, guys, don't you get it? This is why it's called a movie. It's a moving image. They're like, Ickbard, shut the fuck up.
In Warhammer 40k, the Imperium celebrates Sanguinala. And this is a great mixture of both of the ideas that we've just talked about. It replaces Christmas, and it's linked to the same idea. Jesus sacrificed himself to save humanity, and Sanguinius did the exact same thing.
Amen.
Not only are you replacing idea for idea, but you're continuing what we already see in our own culture as how religions and how holidays develop. In both cases, it can be even argued that we can't be sure when the event actually happened on the calendar day that it's celebrated. So was Jesus born on December 25th? People argue about it all the time. And
no, he was in June.
I just realized that I did Jesus died for our sins on Easter. Sanguinius died for humanity in December, we think. But we also don't know if the month, and I cannot remember the actual name of the month in the imperial calendar, because the imperial calendar, all the months are renamed. I can't remember the name of the month that Sanguinala falls in, but it's essentially our December 25th. We don't know if that's actually when the battle between we think it is, but again, 10,000 years of is taking place. Literally, are you going to write that down?
We couldn't remember the name Martin Freeman, and he's been in a bunch of stuff in the last 5 years.
Oh, I don't mean us. I mean legitimately Warhammer 40k scholars, like in the world. They're like, nah, we'll record it later.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah, you're right. That is us. We are scholars. We are early M2 academics. In both Christmas and Sanguinala, there's actually factors of the newest civilization, and kind of just touched on this, adopting and evolving the older religious holiday. Christmas was adopted and replaced Yule, and Sanguinala, essentially, as far as we know, came along a lot later to replace Christmas. And the weird thing is that the root word for Sanguinala actually goes back to the holiday. Ick and I talked about this in one of our Sanguinala specials, the root holiday that actually the Romans celebrated that was replaced by Yule. So there's even another holiday in there that has...
It all goes back to Rome.
Yeah, and I think it's Sanguinus. It's really close to Sanguinala. It's stupid close. The same thing happens with St. Valentine's Day. In both cases, our modern world and 40K have older traditions that they just replaced. And the reason I said Valentine's Day is there is an official Warhammer 40K Valentine's Day, and it's legitimately just replaced St. Valentine. Like, and it's just as silly. It's just as commercialized. It's kind of a parody of St. Valentine's Day, but that's what GW does. They take the piss out of things.
And then piss on
it. Right. Establishing your holidays is pretty easy too. You can borrow what you know. You can basically take all the holidays that exist, or you can just look at things that humans have always celebrated. The ending of a season, the longest and shortest day of the sun on the calendar, the best time for a harvest to start, the best time for a harvest season to end, the best time to harvest a particular crop, because not all of them happen on the same time or the same scale. The day a war ended, or a war that's dragged on endlessly. When is the last time that there was a break in the fighting? If you want to get into that 40k theme. Or when do they think the war started? Maybe the last day of peace before the war started is the holiday. Most nations also celebrate the day of their founding or the day that they became independent. And if you live in the United States, because most of those days are heavily infused with drinking, we celebrate all of them.
Roll Tide. And
yeah.
And when you go more into the full episode, there's going to be a great topic for this, but just to give that little taster for people, you then have your stories, mythology, and fairy tales that come from it. Perfect example, very brief one. In World War Z, at the very end, the character, Max Brooks, the character and the author, is interviewing a Scottish person who survived in the castles during the sieges, and he talked about how Versailles was one of the worst castles to be there because it was a palatial place that didn't actually protect anything. So when they had Z Day in Europe, they planted all these flowers that, and they say in the poem that they even wrote to put in there as part of the world mythology was these the death toll was so high in Versailles and such a great tragedy that the poppies still are bleeding red as a sign of the tragedy that had succumbed to them, red with the blood of the victims to this day. And you add on to that and you build more.
You're like, why are the poppies super deep red? It's interesting because poppies do come in different colors. But yeah, it's really easy. A great depth to plumb with 40k is just like the sheer stupid number of like heroes that exist. They could all of them could have a day. It's that easy.
I mean, there kind of is. You could go by the Catholic saints as well.
Oh,
there's very niche Catholic saints.
You can just pull them out. The harder holidays to define, speaking of, are the ones connected directly to events in your story or the story that you're working with. And I'm going to link this to saints right now. In the case of Warhammer 40k, it would make sense that the many saints and martyrs of the Imperium would have their own holidays. You just brought this up. And that's a thing that exists in history. There are times when the Catholic calendar was just full of saintly holidays. And now it didn't mean that
you should feast. It's like a tradition. You feast.
Yes. Yeah. And some of that kind of carries over into modern traditions, into modern interpretations. And sometimes it just meant you went and visited that person's like grave or relics. But how do all of those saints and martyrs from the Warhammer 40k Imperium fit into your particular world? Are you going to pick and choose the ones you want? Which ones are universal across the entire Imperium? GW does a little bit of work for us because they give us the ones that are kind of important across the entire Imperium. They're a little bit hazy as to when do they fall, but when you're developing a planet, as we've been developing with our fantastic Discord server, including Ickbard of Arconia, we added holidays that are not connected to the broader Imperium at all. The Feast of the Emperor's Ascension is our stand-in for Easter, and it's a time that Arconia celebrates the Emperor's founding of the Imperium. Is that connected to GW at all? No, we picked a name. We picked a day that we wanted a feast to happen, and we used, as I said, we borrowed what we knew. We just replaced Easter. We also have Candlemas, and this is a name given to the concept of a lunar new year on the planet, and it's a time when the citizens celebrate the lives of those who have passed away during the preceding year. We also have Compliance Day, which is essentially kind of our stand-in for 4th of July. It's the day that Arconia joined the Imperium of Man. None of these are wider 40k holidays. These are only things that matter specifically to Arconia, and in our case, specifically to the Innsmouth Hive. But that's just the surface, and we haven't done more co-developing of what holidays might be out there and what those holidays might mean. And here's the core, Ick. This is what you did. You did this.
Okay.
We have Sanguinala, and Sanguinala replaces Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why the fuck isn't there a Krampus knocked equivalent in 40k?
That's
especially
called...
considering it feels grim dark as fuck.
That's called when the Night Lord's coming knocking.
It's called the Night Lord's Night Lord knocked. But what do you think? So first off, like obviously Krampus is a beastman, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and he's a beastman that goes from planet to planet. I don't know what would he do? Whipping the unfaithful to the emperor? Like yeah. Help me here.
It's the kids who don't eat their starch corpse starch rations. He smells it. If they don't wash up, he smells the crumbs. You are wasteful. You are weak. He smells you. He is in your walls.
He's in your walls. That's fucking horrifying. So, do you think that the Krampus, the 40k Krampus, is like essentially almost exactly like normal? I mean, I guess he would be like normal Krampus, right?
Yeah.
And he's got all of his little followers. Oh,
I would argue
followers Skaven.
Maybe. I would argue though that there are two competing theories of the Krampusstein, like in 40k. One of them is more like Futurama of an evil robot Santa because they're near a tomb world. And every year they come in and they need new chattel. And the kids, they yearn for the mines. This is a sentiment that has transcended.
They yearn for the mine. They need to return to the Minecraft.
Ever since I was a child.
Ever since I was a child. I must take up a pickaxe and find the diamond. I really like the idea. I feel like Krampus fits so well. I mean, I know that we have the red Gobbo.
Krampus should be a demon.
Yeah, he really should be. I mean, I think there's even Beastmen models that look like Kramp. Like there's named Beastmen. They're resin cast, or they're fine cast is what that's, yeah, right. They're resin fine cast.
Yeah,
but there are demons that look like, there are Beastmen demons that look like Krampus, like 100%.
Like you could even use the head of Kragnos from AOS because he's got the big curved horns.
Oh, that's true. He does. Somebody, I and this isn't an Arconia thing. This is like, I feel like G-Dub, since I know you listen to our podcast. Sorry, I laughed at my own joke.
I thought it's a good joke.
We need a Krampus. It's really weird. The number of times we've specifically said something like that, and then like 3 weeks later, they're like, by the way, here's the new Krampus model. I'll be like, what the fuck? Do you actually listen to us?
Oh no, there's next year, 2025 Christmas Battle Box, the Red Gobbo's army versus the Krampus demonic forces.
There you go. Dude, I could see him being, I like that you keep bringing up demon. I guess he could just be a keeper of secrets, right? It just has to be whatever the dark reflection, because Krampus is Santa's dark shadow. So it just has to be Sanguinius's dark shadow.
Which would be Mephiston.
Yeah, I guess.
Mephiston is Krampus. Confirmed. You heard it here.
Mephiston comes and visits you.
Mephiston comes, full stop.
If you've been bad. Is he a dwarf? Is he a Voton? If you've been naughty, he takes all of your blood. I was trying to think that too. Like, so Krampus, I like that you brought up Mephiston. Maybe Krampus is like some weird twisted blood angel that's just like always in the black rage, but it's twisted him so much that he's essentially a beast man.
What if if we take this a little further, what if it's a reflection of Sanguinor, this entity that, comes whenever it wants to, appears whenever it feels like it, and just does whatever, but it's fighting for relative goodness.
Well, and that's totally Krampus's bend, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of doing good.
And if you think about it, the way Santa gets into like all the houses, he's obviously deep striking.
Is he 9 inches away from my troops when he lands?
Well, that's why you have to go to bed at night, because otherwise you're going to be within 9 inches of the Christmas tree and he can't land.
But at the same time, if you're one of those players, you're just going to set up everything in your house so it's like 9 inches away from, so he can't deep strike in.
And then that's why he just drops coal. Okay, that's why you get the fucking coal.
That's when you get do you get coal or do you get exterminatus?
Well, I feel like the coal is a warning. Like if it's 30 years of virginity to become a wizard, it's 30 years of coal to get fucking nuked.
You're like, it's coming, brother.
It's piling up. The kindling of your demise.
Well, guys, let us know what your ideas on Krampus are. There's a bunch of ways that you can get into contact with us, starting with emailing us. If you have an email specifically about this episode or you want to reach the show, you can do that at underthehiveofmadness@gmail.com. You can also say attention Ickbard, and we will not tell him that I'm sorry. We will tell him I'm not reading correctly. I was telling, not reading. I'm just kidding. If you email us, we will get it to Ick. But you can also join our growing community on Discord and become part of the conversation about existing lore, world building, gaming, and so much more. You can find the podcast on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, or check out our website underthehiveofmadness.com. I will admit, we do not really understand the Facebooks, but we're pretty good at the Instagram, the TikTok, and the YouTube, so check those all out. We do have a Facebook presence. We're bad at Facebook. Full honesty. You can also check out our link tree to find links to keep you up with everyone in the cast's hobby progress and other projects. Ickbard, how can the people find you?
Well, you can find my face everywhere on milk cartons. I looked a little younger on that, so it doesn't translate as well. So you can find me. I am Ickbard, Ickbard. Find me pretty much wherever. Unless it's really messed up, then it's obviously not me, because I have taste. So I'm on YouTube. I'm Ickbard. I have a series that I've been very slow to get the second episode out, but I think I need to just get it done. It's Ordo Historia.
Been a couple
6 months.
Of months.
6 months. Been a couple of months.
I have so much to talk to you, but give us the name one more time.
Ordo Historia. The idea is the premise of we're taking history, real life history, and we're taking what GW pulls from our real life history to put into their world. And because Warhammer 40k is a sci-fi world that has not yet happened, thanks MechWarrior for the cool tagline. It's a historical game that has not yet been created. So it's our world. We can pull from real life stuff, and they constantly reference real life stuff from us. Where does it connect? I did a big video on how World War I really had a big fingerprints put on the unification wars of Terra, the first World War to the final World War, if you will. I'll even go into the discussion of, is that really the final World War that happened on Terra? The next one that's coming up is talking about how, in spite of the Emperor's big push against religion, if it weren't for the Mormons, he would not have been able to conquer the seas, conquer the stars, and conquer the galaxies. Because we're talking about John Moses Browning.
I want to see what you do next, because I have stuff, but yeah.
I'm a co-host streamer on Handicrafts when he streams on YouTube and Twitch. Handicrafts. Handy with an I, crafts. Wonderful guy, great dude, friend of the show. He is going to be on the show hopefully soon. He was going to be on. He had COVID, so he's on remission. Additionally, if you want to see any of my written works, we will have a link to that as well. It's under the name Obsequian Monaris. We'll have the links for those. I write stories, I write sci-fi, I write fantasy, I write science fantasy, and I have a co-writer, so it's really a we thing. It's a team. He's Pippin, I'm Jordan. There we go. That's the combo.
We are all one. I was trying to think of what one of us.
One of us.
I'm apparently failing at making jokes appropriately today.
Well, don't worry, I'm a failure, so I make you look better. I do make the joke. I don't believe it, but I make the joke on Handy Stream. I'm here to make him look smarter, more talented, and more educated.
Does that work?
No, because I'm funnier than him. Thank you, Gobbo, for having me. I want to know, how could we help the podcast grow so I can come back more often and feed my vain ego?
Listen to that segue. You can help the podcast grow by liking and reviewing us wherever you get your podcast fix. Our home is right here on Spotify, but you can find us on Audible, Apple Podcasts, CastBox, iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and more. As always, links and spellings can be found in our show notes. Support us through Patreon at www.patreon.com/underthehiveofmadness. You can join a fantastic crew of hivers for access to extra content and a chance to snag some cool merch in our monthly giveaways. In the endless darkness of the Underhive, purity is rare, but not impossible. Introducing Aquila Fizz, the sparkling water purified through the sacred processes of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Whether you're purging heretics, scavenging in the depths, or standing vigil.
Blessed with the essence of the Emperor's divine light, every sip quenches not just your thirst, but your soul at the gate of humanity's salvation. Aquila Fizz fuels your faith.
Aquila Fizz, purity in every bubble. Hydration for humanity. Shearing away from the very edge of reason, we are the manifested maniacs of the Pirate Voxwave 665.66 UHMA Chemrat Radio, reminding all of you Chemrats, hive mice, and some ghoulies to keep those dials fixed right here. Same ratty frequency for a dose of the same ratty-ass attitude.
But where are the depths that where the shadows crawl? The four-armed emperors wait for all. 6 eyes gleam in the icy dark. 4 claws strike swift, leave their mark. Stay in the light, don't drift astray. To their grasp, you'll be dragged away. Morgan Freeman.
Just remember, read my fucking book.
And spam new to your squigglins.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for joining me. You guys have a good night.
Bye-bye.